Oh, man. Well, I was going to do a told you so video. But for what? I mean, really, no one cares. But I did tell Miss Lorazano, and I did tell another mother, and I did tell another mother that Jeremy Wade, Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania, is a child molester and a serial child molester, a straight pedophile and the people that lived next door to him were just as disgusting because they let him move in with their 16-year-old daughter. So yeah, they're disgusting also. But Mr. Wade was incarcerated, unfortunately, for the children that were involved in the pictures that he had on his computer. You know, he I told you so really stinks right now, because he has two beautiful children that now, I'm not saying they'll never see their father again, but if it, you know, I don't have anything vested in it. They're not my children. They are lovely people. The little one she's just a lovely little creature, and her brother's a spunky, you know, semi-normal 5-year-old, 4-year-old that is really pleasant to be around once you get to know him a little bit, and once he begins to trust you. They're a lot of fun. And unfortunately, I did it my own self, not the pornography thing, but robbing my children of their father. And I know exactly how those children are going to feel, because my father robbed us of our father. And I don't know what his father did, but it's pretty likely that the same thing happened with him. I don't know how old my father was when my grandfather died, but it just is a continual thing. Now, we're in a complete generation of children that were raised without fathers, and generations that were raised by grandparents and no home parent whatsoever, or a generation of children that were raised by drug-addicted parents or alcoholic parents, a generation of children that were raised in a home where the parents smoked and didn't give a damn about their children, and completely and utterly the only kind of mercy that I could possibly have for any of that, in my words, of course, is that the Lord Jesus Christ has instructed me not to hate people. But when you smoke cigarettes around your newborn children, you don't understand or you don't care. So you don't care that your child will grow up to be addicted to that trash that you're inhaling in your lungs. You don't care that they will 99% of the time, not always. And I'm not saying that there are children of parents that don't smoke that start smoking also because, well, someone gave it to them. It came from, not too long ago, I went to the farms, many farms in Pennsylvania, and saw in many, many, many fields and barns tobacco crops. Tobacco, man. Drying out. I was like, wait a minute. That's the most addictive substance on our planet, isn't it? Nicotine. And deadly. And it is shocking, right? That a group of people that claim to be closer to God than anyone else on the planet because they shunned the new ways. And look, I was appalled because they claim, not just them, it's not just them, it's not just one group of people, it's the millions of people that smoke, but the people that are growing it and claiming also that they serve God, I don't know. That's you're selling the most addictive drug there is. You're growing it and you're selling it. Someone else will grow it, fine. But they also claim to be the most unencumbered, unenamored, what's the word I'm looking for? No possessions, you know what I mean? Like they live a lifestyle where, you know, I've seen some of the shiniest pants on earth on some of the men from Anabaptist churches. They are the most they claim to be the most come on. They don't need the money. No, money's not their motivation for life. It's supposed to be God. But no, sorry. Sorry, guys. You are selling the worst drug there is. The most poisonous, addictive drug. It killed my mother. It took her from us because she could no longer breathe oxygen. Only the carbon monoxide, some they wouldn't give her one of my lungs. And that was it. They poisoned her with morphine until she was dead. So, is this how God's judgment works? Does God's judgment work the way that I think it does? I suspect it works like this. That every little teeny grain of that tobacco in that cigarette, every carcinogen that was produced by that cigarette to enter into my mother's lungs to cause her to have bronchitis, emphysema, double pneumonia, all kinds, the whole 9 yards, the whole thing. They will each be judged for her death, because that is personally how I believe it. Like Hugh Hefner, every model, every advertiser, every store, every delivery truck, every editor, every purchaser, everyone that ever saw one of those images, that man will be judged for their sins. That's why Judgment Day all comes on one day, at the end. So everyone can be fair and justly judged in righteousness. So every person that ever produced one of the cigarettes that killed my mother, that led to her death, yes, she smoked them. But this is quote unquote what the doctor said to me. I am not going to put a healthy lung into a person that cannot quit smoking. You know that set me off, of course, because it's not your choice. I don't think it's up to you. And quite frankly, if it was Donald Trump's wife, she would have had that lung in a heartbeat. But because it was my poor mother, they euthanized her. Alright. So once again, this is another video where I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. Hopefully you do. Leave some comments in the sections below. And let me know if I'm making any sense or not. Because, quite frankly, I really don't want to make sense today. How about them apples? Still waiting for You know, I don't need to have anyone there. I hate going into that courthouse. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And if you make me go in there, you're going with me. Are we clear? Pumpkin. And that's it. I don't care if you never see me again. That's fine with me. But I'm not doing it. The videos will continue. The Miklo Virgo movie is coming soon to a phone near you. I'm working on the props, and I'm working on it, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be eye-opening, revelatory, but done in love. So shout out to my girl Erica. I miss you, Pumpkin. I do. You are a punk too, though. You never wanted to fight, talked all that nonsense, but you hit like a girl too. That's a shout out to you though, sweetie. I hope you're well. My other pumpkins from work. Oh man. You know, I do miss working there, but it wasn't meant to be for me. It was my mouth was too crazy. I would really like to know, you guys can comment about my mental state. I know that when I first started working there, I was on a lot of testosterone. Trying to go to the gym and go to work was impossible. So of course I had to choose work. There was that time, if you look on my Instagram videos, then you're going to see the leg press I tried to do. And when it came crashing down, it actually broke 2 of my ribs. I figured out that's how I broke 2 ribs. I lay there, torturous pain for weeks, just thinking that it was something that I had sprained. You know, there wasn't nothing that they would have been able to do about it anyway, right? So I did break 2 ribs that day. I remember like not being able to lay on that side of my body, but how did I not know that, you know, there really wasn't a bruise? I asked my daughter if there was a bruise there. I remember that. Pumpkin, I broke 2 ribs that day, if you remember. Me asking you about the bruises. But yeah, there's 2 broken ribs in there. They healed. Anyhow, this is another nonsense video that doesn't even have enough moxie to call itself nonsense. I have no idea what I'm talking about. None. It's about bedtime. It's 7 o'clock at night, and I'm thinking about going to bed. I don't have nothing to watch. These YouTube videos are getting old, and the old football games are old. I don't have cable because I just can't afford it. I'd really like to have just regular local channels so I could watch some football, but can't afford it. So, did I start this out? Is that an I told you so video about Jeffrey Epstein? Maybe. I don't know.